This SoloQ on my strat wins me 90% of my ranked games. And in today's video, I'll be going over 5 SoloQ strats that you need for your ranked games. Let's get into the video. Firstly, let's go over that one my strat that I just showed you for kitchen and cafe. Now, as one my, your job is to hold bakery. To do this, you need to make sure that no one hops in your small bakery and opens this wall. Because if they do, they get a direct line of sight into bar where you'll be playing, and that's really bad. So you want to make sure that you reinforce this wall. Now, even though this wall is reinforced, they can still get somebody like Ace or Habana to open it. So to counter that, you want to make sure you have a Wamai magnet above this window to catch the Ace charge that is commonly thrown on this wall. Instead of opening the window though, sometimes they'll just hop in the window. So if you want to know when they do that, you can put a proximity alarm under this table just like this. This always works, and it's very hard for them to see unless they go prone, but you'll be able to hear that and then easily swing them, and because they're prone, their sensitivity is lowered a bunch, and they won't be able to turn around and shoot you. Now, holding off small bakery is great, but again, your main objective is to hold off bakery. You do this so they can't easily just get open these two walls here. Speaking of which, you want to make sure that these are reinforced. A lot of people like to put rotates on this wall if they want to rotate out of bakery into sight, but I only recommend doing that if you have reliable teammates and you're in higher elo. The only other reinforcement that's really needed is this reinforcement on the prep wall. This is so that if you have a teammate with a shotgun, they can sit in this corner and help swing kids who are on the double door. It also protects anyone who's rotating from bakery, which would be you, all the way into sight without having to get shot from the double door on the other side of this wall. You can also, for information with your Karatos, put feet holes right here. And now you pretty much have the default sight set up for bakery, and because it's default, you probably won't have to do half of this yourself anyways, which is why it's SoloQ friendly. In terms of your actual Wamai placements, your second Wamai disc is going to go on the left side of this double door. The reason you don't put it in the center is because you're actually going to put your proximity alarm in the center of the door just like that. So if you're sitting behind this bakery double but you're not peeking the door and exposing your head, you will still know whenever they walk in. And when they walk in, you can easily shoot them because you have a proximity alarm that tells you when they walk in. Now, in terms of other Wamai placements, you can always put one on the right side of the door here, or optionally, you can put it on the left side of this pillar here, which will also catch any grenades from the double door that are coming right at you. It's overall a very easy strat to do, and I definitely recommend you try it in your ranked game. A strat that's a bit more advanced, though, is this castle strat for defending CC and cash on Clubhouse. Now, the entire point of this strat is actually to hold downstairs. If you notice that they're playing Buck from below, using this castle strat will greatly counter this. The first castle barricade is going to go on this secret door right here. The reason you castle this off is so they can't get on the secret window and make their way into where you're standing. They also won't be able to get an angle on you if you're rotating from bottom garage, so it's just a great castle barricade to do. The second castle barricade is going to go on this double door right here. A lot of people will castle this door instead. But because this is a SoloQ strat, your teammates won't know how to play around if you castle this door, so you'll really screw over your roamers if you do this. So instead, you can castle off this door and allow your roamers to do their thing, while also still protecting you from that door in the process. If you still are afraid that someone's going to come from this double door, you can always put a proximity alarm on that door instead, and still get the information that you need. Not only does having this open help your roamers, but it also helps you rotate into bar, where you'll be playing on these feet holes to contest stock. You see, this strat is pretty common in Pro League, and the other part of the strat that I don't like is they sometimes will castle this door. But that makes it to where the buck can just buck below cash, and we're not going to allow that. So these feet holes make it a lot harder for them to do so. The only issue is now if they get on this door, they have a long angle into where you're playing. So you guessed it, your next castle is going to go on this door. Not only does it protect sight lines, but because it's next to their spawn, they're probably just going to melee it anyways. And if you're playing on the feet holes for stock and they start meleeing it, you can either hold the angle and kill them, or give yourself time to rotate back so that door isn't an issue for you rotating anymore. But if you're playing in bar for stock, there's one issue. You're exposed to behind you. In order to not expose yourself from those angles, you can just castle the double door just like this. And because you didn't castle this door, it still allows your roamers to rotate whenever they need to. But it also allows attackers to come in when they need to. So how do you know when they're going to come in? You'll know because you're going to put a proximity alarm behind bar just like this. It'll alert you if anyone's trying to come through this doorway to flank you, but it also makes it to where you're still protected until they hit the proximity alarm. And it gives you the heads up that you'll need to either swing them or rotate if people are also contesting you from stock. So now you have a very safe and a little bit technical way of holding the bottom floor on Clubhouse. But we've gone over nothing but defensive strategies. So let's bring it back to Cafe, where you'll be attacking with Sens. Now, I know I've said in the past that Sens is a bad operator, but hear me out. Sens can be situational if you have SoloQ strats like this that you can easily do yourself. What you'll do is you'll spawn river docks. 1, so that you avoid most of the spawn peaks on the map, but 2, so that you can then open this door, and then you can open this window. The reason that you'll do this is because this is actually the side of the map where you'll be pushing. Opening this double door allows you to sit outside and hold a very tight pixel angle onto anyone in Kotrek who might get a little overzealous and try to swing you. Opening this window allows you to see anybody who's trying to hide inside of Christmas and contest your people who are running into white to try to get the white wall open. But more importantly, it allows you to hop in to push backside, which is where you'll be pushing. Once you've thrown a drone into restaurant, you've droned out Christmas or VIP, whatever you call this room. You've droned out bottom white and white hallway. You've droned out whiskey. You've droned out reception. And you've made sure there's no flankers on your brown stairs. Then you can throw a send right along this wall here. And then immediately you can hop in. Now, this sends wall makes it to where you don't have to worry about any of the angles in front of you. We're talking the angle from all the way into small bakery, the double door here, the optional rotate here, maybe even Whitehall if someone's here. We're talking the coat check window, if they swing out the coat door, maybe a head hole angle if they have it here, you name it, that sends wall there protects you from a lot. It makes it to where you can run all the way into VIP and maybe attack from a much safer angle on this doorway, where you can clear the angles one by one, going from the stairs, the doorway here, behind whiskey, all the way down the hallway, instead of jumping in and immediately having to clear a lot of different angles. Now that you've used that sends wall and taken control of this part of the map, maybe even getting a kill along the way, then you'll be in whiskey, and this is where you have to make a decision. You can either stay on this double door and send off the hallway by throwing it at this dresser so it makes a cross right here, and then you can play this double door. Or you can be a tad bit more aggressive but smarter and go in reception and clear out anybody inside of coat check, which is a bit riskier, but I like to do it because it's a bit better for your ranked games. Then, once you're here, or even if you're there, either way, you have to cut off this huge line of sight here. And all you have to do is throw a sends wall onto that wall so that it bounces and walls you off right here. This will make it to where nobody inside of small bakery can see you when you're here. It makes it to where nobody can see you from top red stairs. It makes it to where nobody can see you from Harry Potter. It's a very good sends wall. Now, all you have to do is the hardest part of the strat, which is playing and trying to take control of freezer and the general backside here. Now, if you have teammates that are getting open this wall, this strat is a lot easier. But again, this is a solo queue strat, so I wouldn't give you this strat if it wasn't doable by yourself. And if you want to do it by yourself, honestly, I'd recommend droning this out, then sends walling here, and then pushing into here and getting some frags and doing the risky part. The only issue is that they have feet holes right here and maybe even angles on this wall. So if you want to counter that, you guessed it, you're just going to sends wall just like that and cut all of these angles off. This sends wall will make it to where you can come in here and plant in the default spot behind the bomb. You can plant behind the counter here. You can clear out freezer, get some angles, and if you don't have the bomb, you can get a new angle right here, and then once the wall comes down like it's about to, you can get some free kills into kitchen. It's just a great fast-paced strategy for anybody who wants to take the backside in case you see that it's a bit clear. Now, like I said, this strategy is very fast-paced. Something much slower paced though is this Maestro strat for CC and Cash on Clubhouse. Now this strat I actually got from a viewer in my YouTube video, where I got my viewers to compete for a chance at $100 if they gave me the best SoloQ strat, which is a video you should totally go check out, by the way. The first part of the strat is that you're going to put a Maestro camera a little bit behind but still next to this drone hole on the red hallway right here. Then you'll put an observation blocker on the left side of it just like this. You put it on the left side and not the right side because the observation blocker will also be able to block any drones who are trying to drone the top of the red hallway to see anybody contesting the red stairs. Now this Maestro camera can see anybody that is repelled on the balcony. It's a bit hard to see because of the observation blocker, but because operators are super white and highlighted like I am here, you can still pretty easily see them, so it's not really an issue. You may be able to see them, but because of this observation blocker, their drones won't be able to see you. So if they bring drones and try to drone you out, you can zap them. If they bring Twitch or Flores to destroy your Maestro camera or any other utility, you can zap that too. It's overall a great Maestro camera that can test the wall in no other way that I've seen Maestro be used ever. Now, because this camera typically only sees the right side of the rappel and not the left side, you're able to get a Maestro camera on rafters right here on these pipes next to the electrical switchboard here. that can see through the default head holes onto the left side of the breach. So both sides of the breach are covered, and because typically your teammates will make head holes here and reinforce this here because it's a default strat, this is still pretty solo queue friendly. Even if they don't end up getting this wall open. This Maestro camera here is great for just looking into rafters and getting any drones that are on the rafters here, or anybody that's just on the wall. It's a great camera nonetheless. If you want them to not be able to drone out this Maestro camera in the first place, you're going to put an observation blocker about right here on rafters. And then you'll put a second one on rafters right here. Now, this second one really isn't for your camera, it's more for your teammates, because both of these observation blockers here have a double purpose of making it to where they can't drone out anybody who's playing rafters, which won't be you, by the way. This is really just to help your team and help this camera. But because Maestro got buffed and he has a third camera, where are you going to place that one? For this camera, all you'll do is you'll get on top of the cache table. And for this, make sure that none of the cache here is broken, because you'll walk on top of it and then break this fan to shimmy on top of the black box. As you can see, it took me a little bit, but I still got there. And then now you're going to put the Maestro camera as high as you can on this wall. Now, if it took me that long to get on this black box, it's going to take the attackers even longer. Which means they're going to be exposed and probably get shot for trying to knife this cam, and if they're good, they'll realize that and they won't even try to knife it, so this camera is completely safe. Not only that, but you can just shoot out the cache afterwards, so they won't even be able to get to the camera in the first place. This camera not only can see anybody who's trying to plant in cache, but it can also see the feed of anybody who's in construction, and they won't be able to see the camera and shoot it back, so it's a great camera. With your bailiff, you can also make a hole here. This will give you a line of sight onto anybody inside of CC, but it also makes it to where if you're on top of this table right here, you can see anybody on the window. If you're playing on top of this table, you can also get a hole right here to watch the rafters window, in case they take control of rafters as well. But in terms of the strat, that's about it. The site setup might take a little bit longer than you're used to, but it's still a great strat nonetheless. A solo queue strat that practically takes no effort though, is this castle strat for defending hookah on coastline. Firstly, on castle, you want to make sure that you're bringing the bulletproof camera, because you're going to put it right here on vase, watching the hookah double door. Because it's watching the hookah double door in the prep phase, you can just zap camera after camera and get free info and info denial, so it's a great bulletproof camera. Getting into the actual castle strat though, your first castle is going to go in billiards on this double window here. It may seem pretty basic, but it makes it to where if they have a Glaz or anybody with a DMR, they can't just snipe you for free in billiards, so it gives you a little bit of wiggle room to play inside this site. Your second castle barricade is going to go on this window inside of the hallway. This makes it to where they can't get on the roof and shoot anybody who's rotating from vase into billiards. It's a great castle barricade that really helps you that they can't do much about. Now, if your teammates are good, they'll reinforce these two VIP walls here, instead of those two reinforced walls there. The reason that these are better is so they can't get an angle through these walls onto anybody inside of billiards. It's a very easy and powerful angle that they can get. If you reinforce these walls, sure, you can hold VIP for at least a little bit, but it's really hard to hold here in general if you're a solo queue player, so I just don't recommend it. Let them take the free space and punish them later for trying to get an angle on the wall. Now, you might be thinking that they can just get an angle through this doorway and do the exact same thing. But because you're playing castle, you can just castle off this door here, and now they can't get that. Now, if they open up this wall, they can still get the same exact angle, but it's much tighter and much harder for them to get a kill with, so I'd much rather them have that angle than these three angles that they can get here. You can also optionally make this rotate yourself, so you can still rotate in VIP, but they won't have as powerful as an angle, and you're not cut off by your own castle barricade. If you want to do this and you want to actually play inside of VIP with your castle strat, then your final castle can go on this double door here, because it makes it to where they can't get in the hallway to shoot you whenever you're rotating. But if you don't want to do that and you want to keep the wall to my left right here closed in a more solo queue friendly strat, then I recommend that your final castle barricade go on the kitchen door here if you or your teammate isn't roaming inside of kitchen or service. This is because it's very easy for attackers to go on the kitchen window and take kitchen, or go on the service door and take service and then kitchen, to get a long angle onto any of your players inside of Sunrise. You don't want to allow them to be able to do that, at least not without your teammates knowing about it, so castling this off not only helps your teammates, but because it's helping your teammates and requires them to have zero game sense, it's pretty solo queue friendly as well, and it takes no effort really to do 4 castle barricades, which is why this is such a good strat. If you want even better strats, check out this next video. My name's Alka, and I hope I'll see you there. Later.